Welcome back to the Navy Sports Magazine. Joined now by Michael Zanti, and let's do a little heritage here. Parents that attended the Naval Academy, and
Yes, sir.
to be able to follow in their footsteps. What does that mean to you, just as a student, let alone a student athlete here at the academy?
It means the world to me. Being able to do exactly what my parents did. 40 years later, my dad swore me in on I Day, and it was to the day, 40 years, and it's emotional. It's awesome.
I was
love
going to
it.
say it would have to be, and got to be a lot of family pride, I'm sure. There, the fact that you and your mates are walking around with those sweaters on this week can only mean one thing. How do you handle, the hype, the hoopla? It's not. I don't necessarily know if it's pressure because you all put pressure on yourselves,
Mhm.
obviously as competitors, but just handling all that goes along with the anticipation of a week like this. What's the key to deal with that?
We try to look at it just like every other match. It's a little bit different. Instead of having 5 people shoot the match and then count the top 4 scores, we count the top 5 out of the 8 we pick for each rifle.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of just 5 people going in for each rifle, you have 8 people who could potentially have a count and score. So um, more of the team, I feel like, has been engaged lately because they have the chance to contribute to beating Army.
When you have someone like Gabriella Mays do what she did last week, what does that do within the team concept? Because, part of it is the buy-in to what your coaches are selling.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously seeing those kind of improvements that break records, longstanding
Mm-hmm.
records here at the Academy, that even some of your teammates have matched along the way. What does that do within the team camaraderie to see someone do that?
That's a huge motivator. After the match, no one was like, "Damn, she just broke my record." It's okay. That's awesome. She's contributing to the team score, and now I get a higher record to shoot for.
Does the fact that you see that know that, hey, something more is achievable
Mm-hmm.
out there? Because I'm sure, I mean, the discipline is to shoot your best every time you go out there, but is there competition within yourselves, especially on the practice range,
Mm-hmm.
to make sure, as you mentioned, you want your score to count on the weekends and being part of the contribution?
It definitely is. Um, One of the things Coach tells us a lot is that we're better than we think we are, and then Gabby and I will sometimes go head to head in practice with a few other of our teammates, and everyone's pretty comparable. And then when you see Gabby pop a huge score like that in a match, you think to yourself, okay, she can do it, I can do it, every one of my other teammates can do it too.
You guys have tremendous leadership, and the interesting thing about your sport, and Coach and I had talked about this a couple of weeks ago, is the co-ed version of it. Kestrel obviously being the captain, and that dynamic. Uh, Her leadership. What does it mean to this team? Because you all are doing some things here under Coach Ante as each almost seemingly each match, but certainly each season here, you all continue to raise the bar higher as a team. What has her leadership meant to that?
I think she's done a lot for the team. Uh, she doesn't really bring the hammer down on us so much as she leads by example, which I personally like because in a rifle it's a team aggregate score, but ultimately it's you on the line with your own thoughts. And if you do fall short, it's your team score picking you up. But ultimately, you got to rely on yourself. And Kestrel's leadership style of more hands off. If anything happens, she'll step in and help us out. But it definitely makes us more self reliant and a lot more capable.
What do you like best about the sport?
That's a tough question. There's a lot of things I like about it.
Yeah.
I love the team. I wouldn't trade my team for anything in the world. Um, I love shooting well and doing well for the team. That's probably the best. Coming off the line with the big score and knowing that contributes to my team score and building everyone else up. That's probably the thing I like most.
I was going to say a lot of times when we talk to athletes who you are part of a team, but your individual discipline is just that. It's individual. The fact that, you can't get up on the line and call timeout in the middle. And, you gotta step up there and do it. You can't get a sub or anything at any time. How do you deal with the consistency that you need, not only just physically, but the mental part of it to make sure that you're as good as you can be every time you step to the line?
A big thing of it is going into training and being focused during training like you would be in a match. So when the match time comes, it's just like practice, or as much as it can be. There's a little bit more adrenaline pumping through you, your heart rate's a little bit higher, but you try to look at those things as things to help you make your vision and your reaction times a little bit quicker. But a lot of it is just making practice as focused and as disciplined as possible.
How did you get into it?
My sister is shorter than I am, and I was a big club swimmer, but eventually she just got too short to compete, so my mom started looking around. Found shooting was a sport that really didn't matter how tall, short, strong, weak, fat, skinny you were. Everyone can compete in it for the most part. And my dad was working overseas, so mom was the sporting parent, and she chose shooting. And that was when I was 7 years old, I think. My sister was 9. Now she shoots for NC State. I'm here at the Naval Academy, and
friendly rivalry. Compare scores, tweet every now and then, or text back and forth. About how you doing. But for you guys as a team to be able to win a team competition against Ole Miss, how important is that? Obviously, you've got the Army competition and other big competitions still to come, but to get into a matchup like that and obviously find yourselves victorious at the end, how much does that help lift you all up over what is a pretty long grind of a season the way it's laid out?
It definitely validates a lot of the things that coach tells us in practice. Every single shot counts, every point count. That match was out of 4,800 points, excuse me, and we ended up winning by 1. So the very last shot in that match counted. The very last shot fired for record counted. And it's, but we do try and look at it as more of like an internal competition. The way the NCAA is stacked up is just by team scores. It doesn't matter how many wins or losses you have. It's your score at the end of the day. So we're trying to improve our own score, not so much focus on how good this team is, how good that team is. We can beat them regardless, but it's more of an internal competition.
How much are you looking forward to obviously competing now with Army?
Really looking forward to it. It's our biggest match all year.
All right. Appreciate the time. Best of luck coming up this week against the Black Knights.
Thank you.
All right. Michael Zanti joining us here on the Navy Sports Magazine.